A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show. We are Quaker Steak and Lube, our place, our home away from home, our place to hang out, talk sports, Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, usually from 2 to 4 p.m., which will be the case today. And lots of news to get to and lots of things to talk about once again today. The Coaches versus Cancer golf tournament gets underway tomorrow. You okay?
Yeah, what?
Oh, it sounded like you were catching your breath or something.
No. Oh, bite my tongue. I mean, I was more sucking my lips, so. Sorry, dude.
No, I wasn't sure if...
Call the EMTs.
Yeah, it sounded...
Goon's going down.
Sounded not good. Coaches versus Cancer gets underway tomorrow. Golfing, hoping the weather holds out. We shall see. At the Penn State golf courses, they'll have their kickoff event this evening over at Medler Field at Lebrano Park. Big news today is that the whiteout game against Oregon will be a 7:30 kickoff on September 27th as the Nittany Lions will open up Big Ten play at home. Night game,
correct.
Whiteout against Oregon, and that is what I think everybody wanted to see in the upcoming season, unlike what occurred a year ago. So we can start the hype, well, now for that game. Both teams with a lot of high expectations. Penn State with exceedingly high expectations, and the hype around the Penn State program about as big as we've seen in quite some time.
Yep.
But Oregon is expected to be a contender. I think generally I've seen them as pretty consistently the third pick in the Big Ten behind Penn State and Ohio State going into the upcoming season. And so Oregon, again, has to make the trip to Happy Valley. Of course, we have the renovations underway, and that will be continuing at Beaver Stadium through the fall. So,
do you have any? What's the setup? Are they adding seats?
Media?
I've not looked at the media. I just seen the seating. Have they put more seats in there? I didn't see it for the blue-white game.
No, it'll be fewer seats than what
we normally we'll lose about 10,000 seats.
I think it'll be a little more than that,
wow.
But yeah, around that.
Oof.
So Penn State and Oregon, again, will be on September 27th, 7:30 kickoff. NBC will be televised.
My liver that was hiccuping.
Will be the NBC coverage of the game. And Penn State also announcing the kickoff times for several other games, the first three to open the season, as well as the TV coverage of said games. We'll run through that here as I open up the laptop. But
while you're doing that, you do know that the Oregon weekend, that's when Pittsburgh's in Ireland.
Yeah. Also, today we will have live coverage here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox of the District 6 AAA Softball Championship game, and that will have Bald Eagle area taking on Phillipsburg Osceola. That game will be at Claysburg Kimmel High School, and that'll be a 6:30 start this evening. Todd and Norm Brown will have the coverage, start our coverage somewhere 6:25, 6:30 in that neighborhood, and we'll have that game for you in its entirety. Both teams are headed to the PIAA state playoffs, so that is good news for the Center County schools. They'll join District 6 6A champion State College and District 6 4A champion Bellefonte, so Center County will have 4 softball teams in the PIAA state playoffs next week, along with Bellefonte in the PIAA 4A baseball playoffs next week as well. When you look at the Penn State home schedule to open up next season, again, the Nittany Lions will open the season against Nevada on August 30th. That game will be a 3:30 kickoff on CBS. The next week, Penn State will host Florida International. That game will kick off at 12 noon in Beaver Stadium, and that will be on the Big Ten Network. And then the Villanova game on September 13th will be a 3:30 kickoff, and that game will be on FS1. So four different networks, 3 different kickoff times through the first 4 weeks of next season. And then the homecoming game against Northwestern on October 11th, we know will not be a primetime affair. Penn State announcing that'll be either a noon, a 3:30, or a 4 o'clock kickoff. One of those 3 times will get the time at a later date, and we will also get the network affiliation once the time is settled. But it'll be one of those 3, either noon, 3:30, or 4 for the homecoming game against Northwestern. And again, that'll be on October 11th at Beaver Stadium. So
that's crazy what you just said.
Yeah.
4 games, 4 networks.
Yeah, 4 different networks, 3 different times. Again, 3:30 starts for both the season opener against Nevada and the Week 3 contest against Villanova. And then a noon kickoff sandwiched in between there for the Florida International game. And again, what I think all Penn State fans were hoping for does come to fruition this year, and the Nittany Lions will take on the Oregon Ducks in prime time, 7:30 kickoff. And that even works out, dear Goon, for yours truly, because 7:30, I can force myself to stay up till 11. It's when we get past midnight that it's a real struggle on the way home. Should be getting home right around midnight, maybe a little after, but 7:30 is not too late of a kickoff there for the Nittany Lions against Oregon. But I do think that's going to be just a fantastic atmosphere. I really think it helps Penn State's cause, too, in terms of, again, we're going to have all of this preseason hype. Yeah, the team is going to get off to a 3-0 start. Regardless of what happens in those games, the hype machine is going to continue. Now, if they struggle mightily in a couple of them, all right, there might be some questions raised. Even if there are, like, this is the game, all right, we'll definitively put Penn State on the hype train in the national championship picture. And having Oregon have to go across the country and come in for the night game certainly doesn't guarantee anything, but boy, does that put Penn State in a very good position. You like their chances of winning that particular game.
That'll be
keeping the momentum rolling.
I always think that every our national championship games, and I'll throw the 94 game in there, but like, do you have to have that in season, like, okay, that's the game when everybody realized, okay, this is a real team. And what better time than do that week 4 national television against Oregon? The only game in town at nighttime that, it's Oregon. It's a top 5 matchup in a whiteout. So everybody's going to watch the whiteout no matter what. Now we have 2 top 5 teams going at it. Just set up perfect. That'll be like, I always go back to, I say the 86 team, obviously with my brother being on the team, I know a lot about that team. So, remember they went to Alabama and just destroyed Alabama, and that was that coming out party for that 86 team.
Yeah.
And that's when people were like, okay, this team is freaking for real right now, because Alabama was jacked up, and they came out and Penn State stomped them. So what better chance for us than us to go out there and do that? In the 94 team, I believe it was like week 2 or 3, we played USC. And they were a top 10 team, came across the country, and we just slaughtered them. I think it was 35-0 at halftime. One of those coming out parties. So that's a perfect coming out party for this 2025 team, is that Oregon game.
Yeah, it is setting up, much as we discussed last year. I thought the setup was very favorable for Penn State last year, and ultimately Penn State made good use of the setup, advancing to the Final Four. I think much the same can be said again this year, Goon, in terms of the way this schedule sets up. They were talking a little bit on Joe Lednowski's show before ours here this afternoon with the Pennsylvania Sports Network about these non-conference games. And I do think it is a concern, but I think it's a concern that is going to be addressed sooner rather than later. In that, we had the SEC and Greg Sankey saying the SEC is breaking away from the NCAA. Not a surprise. And I think anybody following college sports at all here over the last year or two, this is kind of the inevitable conclusion here, is that the NCAA is going to be replaced. The question is, what does it get replaced by, and where does the power lie? And there's still some things that I think that we don't know that are going to be very important in terms of the future of college athletics in general, college football in particular. But if we do, and I think eventually we will, and I think eventually is going to be coming sooner in the next couple of years rather than later, I think we're going to have some sort of a centralized office, a commissioner's office, if you will. It might not be called a commissioner's office. It might be a group of commissioners, whatever. But I think the Big Ten and the SEC are going to have very strong influences there.
And as well they should.
They will be the power brokers within it. But I think there will be some other representation. And I think once that gets set up, that the scheduling, at least for football, will be handled by the commissioner's office, and that there is going to be an attempt to do something similar to what you have in the NFL, where you will have, a group, and I think one way or another we get broken into, we see college football get broken into different divisions within the conferences, whether it's 4 or we end up with 2 power conferences. I think you're going to have multiple divisions within those conferences, and I think we're going to get back to more regional play.
I agree.
I also think as part of that, you are going to have everybody agree that, yes, the conference or the commissioner's office will handle the scheduling. They will make sure the teams will get the necessary number of home games, but I think you're going to see a game set up each year.
Yeah, it's something. One game
beyond the conference games. What we think of as conference games now.
Convo here.
I think this will be,
Yep.
However this gets. Let's just pretend for the moment that ultimately the SEC takes over the ACC, and I'm just making this up, and the Big Ten takes over. Or there's a merger, if you don't like takeover of the Big 12 conferences, and we end up with 2 super conferences. And again, let's just say they each divide into 8 divisions. I think you are going to see, obviously, you'll play teams within your division every year, and you'll go home one season, away, alternating within your division with the different schools so that you get a balanced schedule there. I do think you're going to have one game. I think you'll end up with the other games mostly being in your conference. What I think is going to be interesting, and I've seen a couple of stories about this, but I think this is where we just have to wait and see how this all plays out. Right now, again, Penn State is padding up, and Penn State's not alone. This isn't a shot at Penn State. This is what big-time college football programs do. But, Nevada, Florida International, and Villanova, you're scheduling 3 paydays, and you're scheduling 3 wins. The entire intent of those 3 games. Let's see if we can get close to a full house, because it's early in the season. It's nice weather. Folks are going to come out regardless of who you're playing, especially if you have a team that has the expectations that this Penn State squad has. So pad the win total, pad the home coffer, the home game intake into the coffers, and you're off and rolling. What I think is really not clear right now is in the future, Goon, does a Penn State have the opportunity to play a Nevada, a Florida International, a Villanova?
Yeah.
Or are those games off of the table and everything now is, hey, you're in the big money club. All of your games are, now you can still have relative cupcakes in the big money club, at least for the time being. But, or do you, is the setup, whatever the setup ends up being, hey, yeah, these teams, because I don't think, like, Nevada and Villanova are not going to be in the same even league that Penn State is as we move forward with this. Again, it's just going to be two different worlds. Is there going to be crossover between whatever you want to call it? Let's just call it grade A and grade B programs. I don't know. There's some benefit there for sure, as there is and always has been for like when 1AA teams would play at 1A teams.
On their whole program in 1 week.
Yes, and so there were reasons for that.
Yes.
For both sides. Does that continue, or do we end up kind of going separate ways
ridiculous.
here?
I mean, the amount of questions that can come out of what we just talking about, and that is, I completely am on board 1,000,000% with the Big Ten telling the SEC, we're not doing this playoff thing until you play 9 conference games. Them playing 8 conference game and 4 patsies,
Or
it ain't right.
Or the Big Ten goes to 8.
Or we drop back down to 8, but we have also 18 teams, man.
Well, but again, if you go to divisional play,
that's
where
I'm starting.
Yep.
With
that's
my argument is that
games.
The Big Ten and the SEC have to have the same amount of in conference games. That's fine. I'm okay with the patsies coming from the outside because, again, they need their programs funded. $1 check from Penn State and from Tennessee to go and play these teams, and they're going to be slaughtered and stuff like that. But we've been doing that for years.
Yeah,
do they
it
go
is
back
different now, though, in that yes, that happened for sure. Pretty much every season, at least that I've been alive, that was part of the schedule. But when I was a kiddo, also part of that was, man, you knew there was going to be at least a big game early on. Oh, sign me up, baby. I want to see Miami
USC,
and Florida State. I want to see Penn State taking on Nebraska at a time where Nebraska was not part of the Big Ten. Yes, boys and girls, there was once a time like that. Even this year, listen, are Penn State fans going to go? Yes. Are they going to be bored out of their skull by halftime? Yes. It's not a good product to be putting on the field for the consumer. Texas, Ohio State, yep, sign me up.
But I think they're going to go away. Those
out.
Big games are going to go away with the current scheduling. What is the point of them playing each other? It's a big old roadblock into there getting into the national playoffs, in my opinion.
Well,
this
unless you win it, then it's a huge leg up over a Penn State team if you use, and they say they do, they take into account the strength of schedule. Now, what the SEC and Big Ten schools will point out is their strength of schedule is going to be great regardless of what the 3 non-conference games are for the Big Ten for the SEC, because the strength of schedule within the conference is automatically going to be very strong.
Yep. And then, you get a guy like Caleb Bama complaining about, well, I would like for those teams to have played our schedule. And I'm like, the schedule that you lost to Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas, or South Carolina, one of the, I get it. We are the 2 big power conferences. I understand that, but they need to be a little bit of parity. Now, they go back to and say, okay, we're going to play our in-conference. We're going to have 8 Big Ten. Well, actually, it'll be 9 and 9. So how are you going to play your 8 teams in your conference and then play an SEC school? It's with the current schedule I'm talking about right now. But if you're talking about getting –
well, I think we're going to head to a 16-team format at some point fairly soon as well.
I
and I think with that, you may see a reduction in the number of regular season games
That's the thing.
and the potential addition of, all right, here are some extra games
Play-in games
at the end of the year. Well, no, not with teams that don't make the playoffs, kind of the college football version of the NIT, if you will, where it's like, all right, you guys get to go play a game or two here with the next tier. Probably would involve the bowl, some of the bowl sites anyway that are
Citrus Bowl, Holiday Bowl type of thing
exist. That is certainly a potential. Could involve home sites as well. Again, all of that.
If they're going to have a 16-game series, 16-game playoff, you're not playing 12 home. You're not playing a 12-game regular season, in my opinion, because that's a lot of games. Because they're talking about right now. Well, what was the horse saying the other day? There was mention of, the top two teams in the SEC and Big Ten get in. The other two got to play in to get in. Like, that's a whole other game now. But the top two teams are already playing, so that's another game. That's now 13 games, and then you get into the playoffs. It's a lot of games, man. And I know we were very, very lucky and we got through last year in a long schedule. That was a long season that these guys are not used to. So if they do go to, go back to 8 games, I would project that they out of conference games away, and this is maybe a game schedule. I think 10. I don't know, but then you're going to run into the people that don't make the playoffs are only playing 11 games a year, and that's not, they're not going to make any money that way. The lesser known schools that aren't going to go to the playoffs, Utah, Nevada, teams that don't make the 16 elf or whatnot, we're just playing regular ball. I don't know. There's so much stuff that can go on right now, and we're set for this year. They're not changing the rules this year, conference-wise and playoff-wise, right? It's already a set. They've already set it up as of Tuesday.
Well, they changed it, but yeah,
it's
going to be 12, but it'll be
top four seeds.
Correct. It'll be seeded by the rankings as determined by.
I'm okay with the
4-4,
2-2-1, whatever. I'm okay with that. 4 teams in the Big Ten, 4 to SEC, 2 from the ACC, 2 from Big 12, a Notre Dame plus 3 at large. I'm good. Now, could those 3 at large be SEC and Big Ten teams? Yeah, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Jeez. A lot going on, buddy.
Yeah.
You know whose job I do not want to have? Pat Kraft.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting it'll be interesting to see, well, a bunch of different things, but in terms of how the other thing that comes into play here now is you are going to have some sort of collective bargaining. And that is where, like, the NFL negotiates to add a game to the regular season schedule.
Yep.
The changes here that are coming, I think, are going to need to be approved by the players or some whatever. And I'm really curious to see how it is determined who represents the players and how long those deals can be for. And listen, we still have, which we've been talking about, we knew was coming, but the lawsuits that are getting ready to be lined up now. There are going to be Title IX lawsuits out the wazoo coming up as soon as we get this House versus NCAA settlement, which could be any moment now. But as soon as that is announced, here will come the Title IX lawsuits. Here will come lawsuits from past graduates still not happy and looking for more. And even with the current players, again, it's great that the court has said, yes, this is acceptable. You're now paying the players. They get a voice in this. So the players can say, listen, this isn't acceptable as far as how we're divvying this up. There's still a lot that needs to be sorted through just for the upcoming season in terms of of exactly how this money is going to be managed and what this is going to look like as we move down the pike. Again, some schools are planning to, it's all going to the settlement in terms of the money, the revenue. They already have set it up. It's going to football and men's basketball. Other schools are like, nope, we're going to set it up so that it's not all of the programs are going to get something, but a good number of them will get something. Now, it's not going to be equitable. Well, I think there's going to be a series of lawsuits. It's like, well, why? Just because this program has a history of more success, we're still both varsity programs, varsity sports. The lawyers are going to win huge. We are going to have litigation for the next several years coming out of this settlement and the implications that it has moving forward. We already have a lawsuit that's been filed, at least a lawsuit that's been filed saying, listen, I'm still in school. Why is the NCAA telling me I only have 4 years of eligibility? If I any other extracurricular activity that I want to participate in, and now you're affecting my livelihood. If the school wants to pay me while I stay here and pursue another graduate degree and another one after that and another one after that, who are you to tell me that I can't keep playing if the school wants me to keep playing? That's another whole set of litigation that it needs to be settled. And I'm not sure from a legal standpoint, I'm not well-versed enough to, I don't have any feel for how that's going to go. It on the surface, it seems like not an unreasonable argument to make that, hey, I'm in school. I'm a good football player. I'm still in school. I'm still a good football player. This school wants me to play. Why are you prohibiting me from playing? I don't
see. I see that happening more along the lines of basketball. I just don't know why, because the basketball is so hard to make it in the NBA. Now, I'm not saying the NFL is easy to make, but there's 53 spots versus 12 spots in the NBA, and the NBA is a lot longer career length than the NFL. So I think you're going to see a lot more of those lawsuits going from basketball, because I'll speak to you from my brother's angle. My brother was a professional basketball player in Europe for 6 years. He made great money, but he wasn't making NBA money, and he wouldn't make NIL money. So if you're making $1 million in the NIL right here and you're going to get $500,000 in Europe, what do you want to do? Oh, hell yeah, I want to stay in America, and I want to stay at the university where I'm big man on campus. Because some people's games doesn't translate to the NBA. You know, I'm looking at a guy like, just put it in, Ace Baldwin. Is Ace a NBA player? I don't think so. Is he a great college basketball player? Hell yeah, he's a great basketball player. A great college hooper. He made a couple $1 million here while at Penn State. Now, there's a guy who wants to go in there to university and say, you know what, I'm not going to make the NBA. I got to go to Europe to make the money I could possibly make in America with the NIL. Or Ace Baldwin says, you know what, I can get another major at Penn State. I can stay in school for another year and make this money. I think that you're going to see that more so with basketball than football. And what do you think about wrestling? Those teams, guys, they have 84 years to begin with.
Yeah, all of the sports. It's.
I just think basketball more so because it's like such a small. Baseball's hard as heck to make too, but there is a lot of leagues in American League Baseball, but not American, but American baseball. Like I said, Europe versus the NIL in America, you're going to make more money in the NIL, so you're going to want to stay here. So I think you'll have a lot more you'll have lawsuits coming that way.
We'll take a timeout here and be back with much more. It is our Thursday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7.
May means warmer weather, the official start of the summer season, and the month that we want to see ya in a Kia more than ever at Lion Country Kia.
Want to see ya in a Kia.
Hurry in in to Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Make May the month that we see ya in a Kia. From Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dravilla Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
2 of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
Back here already on a Thursday afternoon as we get ready for another big weekend. The blue-white or the whiteout game will be on September 27th, again against Oregon, and it will be a 7:30 kickoff on NBC. So I think the fan base will be satisfied.
Yep. Oregon's first visit to State College ever. Welcome, guys.
Yep.
Good luck.
Should be a lot of fun. Should be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, because half that. I mean, when they see like Michigan, oh, they've seen it. They've been there. They've done it. You know what I mean? They've been to the whiteout. They all talk about it, how much they love playing in the whiteout as an opposing player. But at the first one, I mean, you hear our guys talk about it. how like you're just aghast by it, like, holy God. And then this is what we need to jump on Oregon on that night, where they're still taking in what's going on with the whole crazy crowd and the white and everything and the fireworks and how awesome of a scene it is. And we need to jump on them then,
Yeah, it is a tough way for Oregon to open up Big Ten play. That is probably the toughest opening game in conference play that anybody has or really could have to open up at Beaver Stadium with the night game whiteout atmosphere. Now, it's not going to be the whiteout atmosphere that the aforementioned teams have experienced. It still should be a great atmosphere, but it's not going to be the same numbers, and so not quite the same overall feel to the game. But I think it's still going to be a pretty spectacular
two
night
top
of
fives in the
football.
country. That'll be the hardest ticket in the country to get that weekend. There'll be a lot of people who want to come in for that.
For sure. Yeah, Oregon will be
what?
top 10 anyway. They could end up sneaking into the top 5.
Oh, you don't think they're going to be top 5 already?
Not to start the season.
Oh.
No, they'll be, I'd say, 7th, 8th, or 9th. Almost every – now, I mean, could something change between now and the start of the season? Yeah, but I think there's been 4 what do they call them? Way too early
projections,
preseason polls, and I think every one has had Oregon. I don't think I've seen anybody have Oregon in the top 5. I don't think I've seen anybody not have them in the top 10, though. I think that generally they've been 8-ish, give or take a spot, and Penn State has been anywhere from 1 to 4 in the polls.
No, I mean, it's going to be a huge ticket. I mean, I didn't know we're actually going to have less tickets this year with the expansion and stuff. I thought they were going to have some temporary seating in there. There's going to be some temporary seating there, but not the 110.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know enough people from around the country and a lot of different programs who just they want to experience this whiteout. So I mean, don't be surprised if 25,000 Oregon fans come across the damn country for this. That's how big and impressive the whiteout thing is.
Oh, there's no doubt. People want to.
It'll be a hard ticket to get.
It'll be a very hard ticket to get. That is.
One of my brother called me this week. He said, "Hey man, you got tickets for Oregon?" I don't know, dude. I mean,
don't think you'll be the last person you hear from.
Oh Lord, I guess that the phone will start ringing later tonight about reservations at Camp Goon.
But really, if Penn State, and again, there's no guarantees, but certainly going into that game, as we look at it now we don't know obviously any injury factors or other things that could occur, but just looking at it right now on paper, which that's all we can do at the moment. Again, Oregon has a very long trip. Significant factor number 1 against Oregon and for Penn State. An experienced quarterback within the system at Penn State, and an experienced quarterback who has had success, but also has a chip on his shoulder because, and he should. I mean, he's got to show up, and I think he knows that's going to be a big opportunity for him, as well as the program, to go out and yep, I got this in a big spot. Here we go. And it is going to be a big spot for him. I just think, again, pretty much everything that you look at as intangibles, you would think would fall in Penn State's favor for that game. And I just think, again, going into it, as we sit here right now, I think Penn State just has the more talented football team.
Yeah.
Not by a wide margin.
It's earlier in the year. They have not played anybody. We would not have played anybody either, by the way. But we have a lot of experience coming back from last year's team where they are filling in a lot of voids, in particular quarterback. And again, you got to take into account that trip, man. I mean, it's never – I don't know how to do it. I mean, in my head, I'm sitting there saying, you know what? You come in Thursday, get a little bit acclimated, but then you're here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. because they're not flying. I mean, I guess they
And
could
you're going to be sitting around all day. Well,
all day,
maybe not sitting
Saturday,
around,
Friday, and it's
a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. A lot of craziness that can go on, and having go to the West Coast for games, and Joe used to fly us out Thursday, and then practice Friday. But I don't even remember practicing Friday. Maybe a walkthrough type of thing. Yeah, we never really did that normally. But when we lift on Thursday, we would do that on Friday because we would have a Friday practice normally. And then Saturday, you're sitting around all day waiting and waiting and waiting. I mean, that's a lot. That's a long travel, and then a long wait on Saturday. A long wait, and it's tough for the West Coast teams, and we've known this for a couple of years now. Now our guys experienced it going out to USC last year. It's a tough trip, man. It's a very, very tough trip.
Yeah, I also think for the players returning for Penn State, and I generally think this stuff gets overblown, but I do think it is a small factor that, hey, we remember last year's Big Ten championship game, right? And,
Sure.
and I mean, Oregon goes in knowing on the flip side of it, hey, we know we can beat Penn State. We just did it. And
we also
again,
know
it's
we can score on these guys too.
Yeah, and again, they're different teams. I get it. I'm saying for the players that are returning, I think this is just the psyche where Penn State is wanting to go out and prove something. And when you factor in all of the other advantages, again, Penn State, I think will be a pretty significant favorite in that game when it comes around, barring against some unforeseen injury situation that can always factor into those.
Can I give you a Goon story?
Sure.
You need some Goon,
please.
The old Goon, the lore of the Goon. So I'm playing I may have told you this. I mean, we've been going at it for so long, for 5 years now. I probably told it, but I played in the Senior Bowl with a guy from USC. And he was saying it was the worst day of his friggin' life. So what do you mean? He said, we had to play you guys. And this is going to happen to Oregon. That they can't fly in from Oregon to State College because the airport is not big enough to land a large plane that can carry enough gas and the whole program over. So they're going to have to fly into Harrisburg. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the guy from USC, he was telling me back in the day, he's like, we fly into Harrisburg on Friday. We got to drive 2 hours to State College. It takes 3.5 hours because of the traffic, because everything, how it is. And he goes, you go out and just destroy us. Like I mentioned it was 35-0 at halftime. And then he goes, and then we had to leave and drive back to Harrisburg in the State College and Harrisburg traffic going to the airport. And then take a 5-hour flight back to LA. And he goes, longest day of my life, worst day of my life. Absolutely horrendous. So we got to figure, I mean, not we, but I mean, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, but I don't know. Do you fly in smaller planes type of thing to get in here I don't know. Or I don't know. You fly out of Harrisburg or fly the big plane in there, or because it's going to be, if we get done that game at 11 o'clock at night, they're going to have to get in a bus and drive down to Harrisburg.
Yeah.
It's going to stink. It's going to be horrible for them. Or would they probably just be better spending the night here and just driving down Sunday morning? I don't know. Well, it's just these things you don't think about. But this is an in-conference game. This isn't an out-of-conference. This is an in-conference game. And we're going to Washington 2 years from now. We're going to UCLA this year, I believe. Yeah. It's tough, man. That travel's brutal. And we knew that. We've always known that. And that's just for football. I mean, you're traveling first class in football. I mean, the lesser sports, how are they getting out there? They're flying commercial. Whew.
Yeah, it is not an easy assignment. That is,
and that works to our favor, in my opinion.
Other sports. Yeah, no, I think again, to me, just now at the end of the day, it's a bunch of young college guys going out and playing a game. So while I do think pretty much everything favors Penn State here, I also, it's not like it's going to be the world's greatest upset and something that you could not imagine if Oregon wins that game. It's just, I think from the Penn State side, there's a lot of reasons to be feeling very good about the Nittany Lions' chances in that particular game. And again,
you're not a huge guy, Ironhead, but when you get off of a bus or a plane after 2 hours, I know you feel it. And I know you're not a young guy, but you're a bigger guy. Now imagine being 350-pound offensive lineman type of thing.
I
crammed into a plane for 5-6 hours, and then you're crammed into a bus, and then you're expected to play a football game the next day. You know how, I mean, it's going to sound so weird. You're sore. It's just how it is. It's just, and I know these guys are young and they're in great shape, but there's a lot of bull crap that goes into it, and that's probably that will play into it. It totally will play into it, because I guarantee you, like last year when Marco was calling me from Dallas, Texas, saying all SMU was talking about is the weather. All Oregon's going to be talking about, I guarantee, will be the travel. And they'll be more worried about the freaking travel than they will be about the game, hopefully. And we go in and smack them.
Well, that is the hope from Penn State's perspective, certainly. And listen, again, I just think this season, again, sets up very well for Penn State to capitalize on the opportunity and put itself in very good position when the playoffs roll around following next season. And again, and then there's all kinds of factors that come into play. But I think Penn State, this is exactly the news I think Penn State fans and probably the players were hoping for in the offseason is, man, would it be nice if we got that Oregon game to be the whiteout game, and it was the night game that everybody wants for the whiteout and the whole bit. And, yep, whatever went into it, that's the way it is now. And, again, I think that is I know it's a big deal for Penn State, and really it's a big deal for Oregon as well. And we'll just wait and see how it all plays out. But I think that the opportunity there to continue to build on the momentum and the confidence that Penn State is going to come into the season with is pretty substantial. Because if you win that game, and certainly if you win it convincingly, it really does set the stage then for, even if you have a hiccup somewhere along the way, that's going to be a game people will point back to, and regardless of the circumstances, like, yep, you beat an Oregon team that I think will, regardless of what happens in that game, go on and have a very successful season.
That's a name program earlier in the year.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have Ohio State, and Texas in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
That'll be a big top 3 matchup type of thing. So the winner of that's going to be one in the country. And I'm going to tell you right now, the winner of Penn State, Oregon, in the week 4 will probably end up being number 2 in the country. So that's how big of a game it is.
Yeah. There's no doubt it is a huge, huge opportunity. And the only tough thing is, we're not even in June yet. And it's like, all right, let's get this thing going. It's going to be a long way, but it'll allow the hype train to continue to build up.
Well, and the NFL's 9 months a year. We want college football to be the same way.
Yep, the excitement and anticipation will only grow.
Think about this
to that date.
You got a 7:30 at night game versus Oregon, and then you're going to have a 9 a.m. Steelers game.
Yeah, it is going to be. You
just going to party right through?
No.
Ironhead, the old Ironhead would.
There was a time where that would have been the plan, and probably the plan would have been executed.
If you're out there, would the old Ironhead have done it?
I will be rolling out of bed at about 8:55 on Sunday morning and just rolling over to get the TV on.
The coin flip, you're like,
will get as much sleep as I possibly can in between.
You'll be doing post-game stuff, right? For Penn State.
I'm not sure this year
Okay.
I'm not sure what we may or may not be doing yet. So
hey, you know what I thought about the other day? You're talking about the renovations to the stadium. So my unofficial visit here, I came up here for a blue-white game in 1990. And that was when they had the 4 sticks that were what we know as the north end zone.
Yep.
The overhang. Remember, all they had was there was just 4 big metal girders up there. And it was so cool because it was like, oh my God, what is that thing? It looks like the Death Star being built. So I'm interested to see what our stadium is going to look like next year with the press box and the extra seats and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be different. I will say I'm curious to see what impact that has on just the overall feel and the overall experience.
Now I understand why people are upset about their tickets, because they're going to lose their tickets this year.
There will be
Yeah. See, I just thought that people were like being, I got to move to a different section now.
No.
Like a section higher, lower, left, or right. No, they're actually going to be missing seats. Did they announce whose seats are gone?
Correct.
Are they non-season ticket holders?
To the people, they have, yes.
So they actually dropped the season ticket holders?
I'm not
sure
know about the season ticket holders.
Okay, so they just dropped the regular, single game seat type of thing.
Well, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. I'd say.
Yeah, it's there are some people that are not happy. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Big news, of course, in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers. We learned earlier today that there's still no decision. That's what we learned.
I'm telling you,
it's just going to go on. We're going to get like midway through the season. It's all right. He might be signing for week 9.
I watched the Brett Favre thing this past weekend on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
No,
but
I have not.
It's a hit piece. A lot of things can be construed a different way than they really happened, or they, talked about a different way than it really was being done and all that. So I don't know how to take it, but they were just Favre, he's talking about retirement. Like he talked about it for like 5 years.
Yep. And
that's what Rodgers is going. And it's like, why? Now, who else has ever done that? Like, I don't know if I'm going to play next year. I don't know. But if that's how you feel, give it a deadline of when. You're missing OTAs right now. Would you not want to be throwing the ball to your future teammates if this is what you're going to be doing? I don't get them. That's just me, though. I mean, I
think it does at least raise the question about whether your heart is into it. It's the old line: if you're not sure whether you should retire or not, you've already retired.
If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one.
The old saying. And so, I don't know. I think there's some truth to that. I do think the body of work that Aaron Rodgers has produced over the last few seasons is not exactly overwhelming stuff. It's why I think I'd still rather have Rodgers than not, given the current quarterback room in Pittsburgh. But the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph in terms of victories, I don't think it's more than a couple. And I think the Steelers with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback are probably looking at right around a 500 season is my guess. I obviously could be off on that either way, but I think, a game under or a game over 500 is about where I'd expect it to be. Even if Aaron Rodgers comes in and it works, I'm saying it works as well as anybody could anticipate. I still with this roster and now we have I don't know. We got to see what happens here with TJ Watt. I mean, that's not a settled situation yet.
What's on a contract?
And that's, that's going to be an ongoing story here in the coming weeks. And so, but I mean, again, if Aaron Rodgers comes in and it all works, like it's not Rodgers coming in and leading the Steelers to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'd love to see it, but I think there's close to a 0% chance
next
of that.
year. Is he coming back?
Well,
is he not coming back?
The thing. I think, the issue, and really it's with Rodgers or not, I think the Steelers are just largely in the same predicament, regardless of what happens or doesn't happen here with Aaron Rodgers. Again, could you be a little better team? Probably, if again, he plays well and stays healthy and, and it all works. probably a little better team overall, but you're still needing to find your quarterback of the future. And could Will Howard be that? Yeah, it could be. But you're certainly not confident about that right now. And you got to be keeping your eyes and options open here for opportunities to try to continue to find that next franchise quarterback for your organization. And with that comes all of the other pieces that you need to have a franchise quarterback pay off. You don't want to do, like what the Pirates are doing with an ace like Paul Skeens. It's great if you get that franchise quarterback, and if you surround him with the offense that the Pirates have. Although, let's face it, the Pirates are red hot. Back-to-back victories.
8 runs.
They've won 4 of 6 games, Goon. I don't know if is that a major league record out of a 6-game stretch?
We'll talk about
4 victories.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Sir.
Bucks have today off, by the way. They will be back in action tomorrow in San Diego against those pesky Padres, the Mad Turtles' favorite team. We will take a break here. We are coming back with much more. It is our Thursday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
May means warmer weather, the official start of the summer season, and the month that we want to see ya in a Kia more than ever at Lion Country Kia. Hurry into Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Make May the month that we see ya in a Kia. From Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dravilla Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
2 of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again,
The Fox,
your sports radio.
broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And back here on a Thursday as we head into the final couple of days of May. And then we kick off the wonderful month of June.
Last month of the first half.
Yeah. And then the summer will fly by and we will be at the start of football season, which I can hardly wait to get started anyway.
So I was watching the Buccos the other night. 8 runs in an inning. Break them up, man.
Yeah, well, 7 runs in the 8th inning, and it was, we'll take it, for a team that went, 26 games without being able to put up more than 4 in a game. Getting a 7-run inning was pretty darn spectacular. And listen, they're playing. It's all relative, but they're playing for them decent baseball. 4-2. Again, it's modest expectations. I understand.
Hey, the new manager worked. It sparked a
Diamondbacks
little
are
bit.
having some problems for sure, and we'll see. I think it'll be a little bit of a comeback to reality this weekend at San Diego. Padres have a very good team, one of 3 outstanding teams in that division. Although I'll tell you, right now, I think the Phillies.
Don't curse them.
Forget. I'm just saying that the overall
top to bottom.
I realize they have the best record right now, but I'm just saying that team with that starting pitching, with the lineup they have, with the fielding that they have across the board. You know, I know the Dodgers and the Yankees are the darlings of the national media and all of that. The Phillies and the Tigers look like 2 outstanding baseball teams right now. Yeah. And listen, again, San Diego's got a really good team. I think that's still a dangerous squad to watch for. I do think this postseason, when we get to it in baseball, I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and there's going to be a lot of must-see
Buccos in
action. Well,
never know, right?
Would we be planning the parade if they weren't?
That's true. It's true. It's true. You're right. The horse is planning it, but
we are very appreciative of the Rockies in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I do think that is assuring that Pittsburgh won't have the worst record at the end of the season. I think.
Actually, the team that did jump on me was Detroit. And when I was looking at the records there, I said, what? Detroit is the best record in baseball. I was like, oh, God. Now, don't get me wrong. The Phillies have played the Pirates, backed up by the Rockies, backed up by the A's. So
but they did what you're supposed to do.
They took 8 and 9.
And listen, I think starting pitching you have to have, certainly when playoff baseball rolls around. Sure. And not surprisingly, Phillies have a very good staff. I'm not sure that the Tigers don't have the best overall starting rotation right now in Major League Baseball. That is, they are putting up some crazy numbers to this point in the season. But again, I think there's a lot of compelling storylines that are developing in baseball this season. And it was nice just to see last night Paul Skeens actually gets some run support.
He's fun. I mean, I honestly, I do
It's
watch
his
him when
first
he
win
pitches
of the
right.
month.
I'm so upset,
First
though.
win of the month, if you can believe that, with the way he has pitched.
I had an outside chance. I mean, I didn't realize until yesterday. I was like, man, I'm going next Saturday so I can actually count the starts. We're not going to get – the Phillies are not going to get Skeens.
Yeah.
Nor am I going to get the one – I would have been a perfect world if I could have gone to the game that he pitched against the Phillies. We're going next Saturday. We just picked up tickets yesterday, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Ironhead. Now, but I know you're welcome for it. Eastern Pennsylvania goes the Eastern PA money spends very, very well in Western PA.
It is a beautiful part.
See, at least you admit it and you own it. Most Western PA people are we paid for it ourselves. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. But that's besides the point, Jeff. Now I'm looking forward to I do like watching the Pirates. I feel horrible. And by the way, I did find out a name. Because we were talking you're saying within 5 years they're going to be out of Pittsburgh. And
Starting to be more and
the
more
name that I
speculation.
heard that is really desperate for a major league, because I'm like, where are they going to go? That's where I was. Like, what city is desperate for a baseball team? And somebody dropped it on me yesterday. They said Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville's definitely.
And I was like, man, do the owners have any kind of relationship in the Tennessee at all? Nothing in them?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, but I mean, they would get a brand new park type, and that's what they're looking for. It's pathetic. It just drives me nuts. Because you got a good fan base, a great fan base in Pittsburgh. But I understand you're not going to games. I get it. You're making a stand. You should. You have to. That's the only way they're going to learn. You think Nutting walks to his seats anymore going up the ramp like he did in the preseason?
Yeah.
Do you think he learned that lesson that night?
He does. It's it's tough, and there's just the priority clearly is not to try to put out a winning product, and that's just, to me, if you own a professional sports organization, that ought to be at least the end objective. And it's fine to have a multi-year plan or to hey, we're going to have to go through. I'm not saying you have to be out there to win it every year, but it is just so painfully obvious that the ultimate objective is not to win a championship. It'd be cool if it happens along the way, I think, is the mentality here. But the objective is to capitalize monetarily on owning a Major League Baseball team.
But can you imagine being a
Pittsburgh?
successful business person? You're a successful business person for a reason, because you play to win. You go to work to win, to make money, to make all this money, and you have enough money, you're buying a Major League Baseball. And your attitude changes where I'm not really in this to win.
Not necessarily. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not, though, because a lot of they're not. It's not necessarily that you're in it to put out the best product available. It is, I mean, there are businesses that are in the business to get high profitability. And so, again, if you can get high profitability with a product, I mean, not everybody is, serving the top end grub out there. You can make a very good living and be more profitable by putting out, food that people like. That has some quality to it, and so I think I just think that's kind of the approach they're taking is, all right, let's kind of see what we can get away with, type of thing. The real shame of it to me is just wasting a generational talent like Paul Skeens. Like that to me is, I think that's shameful to not try to capitalize. Hey, let's try to put a winning product out, a team that can truly contend when we have this short window with a guy like this who and through no fault really of Pittsburgh's or the Nuttings, you're not keeping Paul Skeens long term, and everybody understands that. But
it sucks.
While you have that window of opportunity, try to seize on it. Try to build on the enthusiasm that having a pitcher like Skeens just automatically generates in your organization and in your city. And I think that to me is the real frustration, is that you're letting that opportunity. And it's a good pitching staff, certainly a very good starting pitching staff they have around him, and to not be able to capitalize on that when you're a Major League Baseball organization it's disheartening at the end of the day. So, yeah, we'll enjoy the little week of pretty decent baseball that the Pirates have provided in an otherwise long and awful season.
It just doesn't completely infuriate you beyond belief that they're like, we know we're not going to keep Skeens. That's crazy to even talk about.
Well, I mean, that's been that way for a very long time.
So, by the way, I know the middle television up there, Jeff. I know you can't see it on TV or on radio or on the feed here, but Tennessee's pitcher, that's the girl who's at the all-time record for the fastest pitch ever recorded in softball pitch this year.
Yeah,
off the mound, and she's just throwing gas off the mound. By the way, girl from Tennessee, pitcher. Unbelievable. Just got her out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, what the hell was that? She's throwing some heat, dude.
Yeah.
Skeens type heat, buddy. No, I mean, I want to know what's the package? What do you think that it'll take to get Skeens? I mean, just speaking of that, I do want to say this, that I was reading an article yesterday. He was reading somewhere about something about an old Philadelphia Phillies pitcher, Diekman. He pitched in 2015. So 10 years ago, he pitched for 3 years for the Phillies. And they were talking about how him and Cole Hamels were traded in 2018 to the Texas Rangers. One of those trade deadline, get rid of Hamels because he's got some value.
Yeah.
They got 6 players back. And I sent it to all my Philly fans, and I was like, does anybody remember any of these 6 guys to make the show? And none of them. There was one guy who was a fourth or fifth starter for a year. That's crazy to think about. How hard it is to get into Major League Baseball. How incredibly hard it is to get into Major League Baseball and to get to that level.
Yeah.
So 6 players come across for 2, and I never heard any of the 6 players. They played for my team. It's crazy to even think about. So then you got to look at what is Skeens worth? That's crazy. I mean, do they want to build up their farm system? I mean, how many times they got to build this thing up?
Wow.
And they just get guys and they draft them and they bring them up and then they trade them for value?
Or not.
Like Garrett Cole. What they get for Garrett Cole? Did they get a king's ransom? Because he was worth the king's ransom.
They did not get what Garrett Cole was worth, for sure.
Right? And they got a low ball on Skeens too?
Yeah, I don't think they end up trading Skeens. I know, nothing they do would shock me, but I think
he holding out for Nashville.
I think right now the opportunity for you can't ask this city to buy into, all right, we're going to sacrifice Skeens because we're going to build for the future. It's just not it's not a sellable approach right now by this ownership group. And so but I don't know that they care one way or the other, to be honest with you about that. So I don't put anything past them moving forward. A couple of other things.
Disheartening.
Yannick and Niederhauser staying in for the draft. And it's one of those, it's kind of a good news, bad news thing. Really cool that it looks all but definite that Penn State will have a player selected in the NBA draft. That is a big deal for the program, and I think should help on the recruiting front. But for a roster that is already decimated, Niederhauser was kind of the one guy that you were hoping, man, if he comes back, that's a difference maker. And he's not coming back now. And again, certainly wish him all the best. Understand, right decision for him, no question about it. But it is another blow to a program that has suffered quite a few blows here over the last 12 months.
I talked to Coach Rhodes today. Penn State Sports released Penn State had the 26th ranked recruiting class, the highest they've ever had in Penn State basketball history.
Yep.
That's a building block right there. I texted Mike. I said, hey, man, congratulations on this. And, he's the kind of guy. He's not happy about it. I got to get more. Is what he said. I need more. I'm like, I got you, man. I understand. But the building block, that first block is there. You got to have that recruiting class that really buys in. He's replacing his whole team, right? I mean,
basically.
How many colleges are going through that? It's not just it's a lot of schools are doing this.
Well, and
it's crazy. Nuts.
And this is the thing. It's like you want to celebrate the recruiting class he's bringing in. And I think you do celebrate if you're a Penn State fan, but, and it's a big but, gnawing in the back of your mind is, all right, how many of these guys are going to be here for 4 or 5 years? And maybe all of them, I mean, again, I'm not sitting here telling you, no, that definitively Penn State isn't a place they're going to stay. I'm just telling you, like, you don't know. And you don't know that with any program, but certainly when the concern is if these guys do come in and the team doesn't have the success that Penn State fans are hoping for, but the individual does, or a couple of the individuals do those individuals say, hey, this is my chance to go capitalize both monetarily and just, man, I can go be the final piece to a championship contending team here or there. And again, I don't know. I'm not predicting anything. I'm certainly not hoping for anything, but that is, I think, the legitimate concern right now when you see the caliber of recruit that Penn State is bringing in. It should be celebrated. It should be exciting. And also, I think there is a part of you that is like, oh, man, I really, really hope we can keep these guys for, the long run, because I think Mike Rhodes is trying to build this. I know he's trying to build it the right way, which is, again, all of these programs are looking, and you have to. You're not being derelict in your duty if you're not constantly perusing the transfer portals and looking for guys that are good fits and can upgrade your overall room, etc. But I think you want the mainstay, and especially a place like Penn State, Goon, like where Penn State can make its hay and make that move up is, hey, we have a team with a bunch of talent that has played together for 3, 4, 5 years, and now we get the end product. You just don't have that certainty now when you even when you bring in a great recruiting class or even a couple, because you're constantly having to re-recruit those guys as well as, again, continue to look to the transfer portal to get more talent in, and obviously continue to try to build with high school prospects as well.
We have the right guy in that position, because I've talked to you enough about Mike and his dogged work ethic, and it's personal to him. That's one block is what he said. That's one, and you said it right. There's a guy who has to recruit his guys every year.
Yeah.
Schwarber in our bomb. Schwarber 8th inning, bottom of the 7th inning, home run by Schwarber. Billy's up 4-2. He's so good. It's crazy. He looks like Ted, by the way, when he runs. The movie with the stuffed animal. That's the way he runs. That's how he is. So, yeah. I mean, Mike, again, you're completely behind Rhodes as a hire for Penn State. But when I talk about how Penn State football, we're at a point where, we're going out and being the big bully and picking up people when we want to pick up people and stuff like that. Where basketball is, they're the lesser end of that. They're the ones getting their players picked. So, again, you find the right guys who can stay a couple years and learn and grow and develop. That's a big thing. And it's not really happening anywhere. I mean, you got Duke, Kansas, Kentucky with 5 new guys every year. I can't wrap my head around it. Cannot. I think Christian Leitner, I think he's the one who said it, and that is that you'll never see a program again, like a program that's like 4 or 5, 6, straight 7 years, because you're not going to have guys like Christian Leitner played 4 years, and with the 4, take his success out, but him and his teammates, they were there for 4 years together. You're lucky to get 2 years out of the same amount of starting 5 in college basketball now. And it's not the players' fault. That's the way the rules are. So I'm not blaming the players. Yeah. There's a payday out there. Go out and get it. But I do getting a player drafted is a big thing. I don't think, were any of our guys drafted in the last couple of years? Stevens? I don't think they were. I think was Booth the last guy drafted?
I have to look that up. I thought, I'm not sure about that.
No, and then, we'll see Pat tonight at the event. Not Pat, but Mike Rhodes. He'll be at the event. So I look forward to talking to him all the time, because he just sits there and he has that intensity. It's like talking to Kale. Like, you're looking at Kale and you're like, wow, this is pretty intense right now, but he's not. He's just an intense dude. He looks intense. I think he plays that off pretty well, though, personally.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to it. Looking forward to hoops. I think me and Carrie talk about getting the season tickets again, supporting these guys like we have in the past. Just feel good for Mikey. The 26 recruiting class is a huge thing. Oh, he's not happy about it. He is happy, but like I said, I'm just redundancy is what I'm doing right now. I'm saying it over what I was talking about, but happy for Mike, happy for the team, and hopefully, because it just seems like that's like that one lagging sport right now in the athletic department is men's and women's basketball.
Yeah,
it's like I want to get those things, get them rolling so well, because it is such a big thing. It is easy, to recruit, I guess you'd say, when you're winning games, and it's tough to recruit when you're losing. So, Mike knows what he's doing. He'll get through it. I don't have a worry about him.
Yeah, again, Niederhauser, if he was coming back, it just would have been a nice key cog to have to be able to build around.
But he has an NFL. He has an NBA game.
Yeah, and I think
tall guy who could play on the outside.
And I do think for the program, having a player that can have the impact that he can at the next level, that is not insignificant, because part of what you're trying to do, right, is you're on the recruiting trail is that this is a path to you going to the NBA, along with all of the other things that you're wanting to sell, but a little harder to make that sell. But this can be a pathway to the NBA when you don't have an NBA player, and the more NBA players you can get out there, obviously, the better for the recruiting pitch.
That's how it works.
As a coaching
amazing
staff. And I think you look at what one of the reasons Penn State football is where it's at right now, and there's a bunch of them, but James Franklin, he understands the game that is being played today as much as I think anybody out there. And again, you can not like different elements of what's happening right now, but you better know how to manage it, how to work through it, how to capitalize on the opportunities that are there for your program. And, I do think James Franklin has a very clear understanding of what it takes to be successful in this day and age of college football. And it's different than what it has been in years past. Or there's things that are similar, of course, but there are also things that you've got to manage now that coaches 20, 30, 5, 10 years ago didn't have to concern themselves with. And I just think, what you look at the overall picture, and one of the things, though, that James Franklin has been, and I think Mike Rhodes is being just as deliberate about, and you need to in order to have success, is that culture. You better have a room that the kids feel good about, that you feel good about, and that when other people come in, they're like, oh, yeah, man, I would want to be part of this. This seems like there are good things happening.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a lot easier said than done. And it doesn't just happen right away. It's getting your kids in there. It's getting them to buy in. And then it's seeing the results. And, James Franklin now does have a history of, man, we produce players that go to the NFL. We produce guys that when they don't go to the NFL, go on and have terrific business careers or professional careers outside of football. We have a program that consistently is contending. Now, can they break through and be the team? That's remains to be seen. But very consistently, they have been, certainly a top 10 program under James Franklin, and there's a clear pathway to get to the National Football League. There's a clear pathway to get to success in other fields.
Playing at a younger age, he has no problem with playing young kids.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that that's a selling point anymore. I think that's 100% of college football programs out there.
It was an issue here with the old man here back in the day. Yeah,
I understood. I'm just saying, I don't know that it's like, well, I mean, it's like saying you run an offense that throws the ball downfield. So, okay, congratulations, coach. That's what 100% of the schools in Division I football
We're doing it now.
But
yeah, but I mean, James has really built that family atmosphere in that locker room amongst the players.
No question.
The family, the coaches, all of that stuff. They're all pushing the same way. You know what I mean? Is that a good way to say? I think they're all pushing to win in the next level, and that's the next level is the national title. I mean, we've done everything. James has done everything he had to do so far. The next step is a national title. And, I know we're going to go to break here in a little bit, but what is your feel? Are you national championship or bust?
Well, so this is, I think we can pick up on the other side of the break a little more on that, because I do think I think you get into dangerous territory. I know Ohio State was there last year, and listen, to their credit, whether you like them or not, and whether their own fans like Ryan Day or not, I mean, they delivered. It was a national.
People who want him fired.
Yeah, but it was a national title or bust season, no question, for Ohio State.
Only reason he's still there.
To me, do I think there's a handful of fans that, yes, I mean, hey, you got to capitalize now or forget it. I don't think – I think this is a tremendous opportunity. I do think there are a lot of things that have lined up very well. I think this program has largely built toward this season. But a couple of things. One, I don't feel like, all right, if Penn State doesn't win the national title this year, let's say they get to the national title game and lose by a touchdown to Team X, whoever it is. Again, I'm speaking for myself. I am not going to be able to look at that season and say, boy, failure. Now, disappointment, sure. When you're that close to winning the national title, yes, you're going to be disappointed over not winning. If you get to the title game, or even last year, I mean, you get to the Final Four, yeah, you want to go ahead and finish the thing off, go ahead and take the title. So disappointment, yes. In terms of, and this is where I think, again, sometimes it's difficult to take that big picture approach, but like, this doesn't feel to me at all like, all right, if they don't do it this year, man, that window closes and it's going to be a while till we see the window open.
We're in a different situation than Ohio State was the last couple of years.
Well, in a couple of regards, I think that's true.
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple of national titles in the last few years. By the way, I was just thinking the other day, I know we're going to break, but scared me to think about this.
Ohio State also went all in.
They did. They monetarily.
And I understand everything. You can say, well, Penn State went after Jim Knowles and got him. To an extent, Penn State has gone all in, but not to the degree monetarily.
Their all in was win the national title or you're getting fired, Ryan Day. I mean, and then he wins a national title, but he loses to Michigan to end the season for the fourth year in a row. And there are people, I know them, they want him fired. And this man won a national title.
Yeah.
Now, again, if he loses that national title to Notre Dame last year, I think he gets fired. And that is insane to think about. That is.
I don't know.
They call us culture issues. Come on now. You got to be kidding me on that one. No, but if James, they go 8-4, 9-3, get into the playoffs, lose in the first round. That's not good for James. That'll be a one, and this is why they're all in on this.
No, I think getting to feel good, just good about this season. And again, it's a lot of pressure, no question. But yeah, I think Penn State has to at least match getting back to the Final Four.
I agree.
At the end of the day, and I think. But here's the thing. So let's say they get to the Final Four, lose again in the semifinals. It's going to be a different team for sure. The following year, you're going to lose Aller. But listen, you look at the two quarterbacks they have backing up Aller right now. You look at the overall pipeline. Like, I think Penn State, it's like Oregon. I think Oregon felt like, man, it was a tremendous opportunity last season. Bummer that they didn't cash in from Oregon's standpoint. But I don't think they're looking at it like, all right, well, now Dan Lanning, he just can't produce. Now, I get the difference in their stages of the career and all of that right now with Franklin and Lanning and all of that. But
I got another one.
I think Penn State is I don't think it's national title or bust in that, all right, if Franklin doesn't do it now, then you pretty much write off the opportunity. I don't have that kind of a feel. I do think Ohio State, and I don't think it was right, but I think they had that feel last year.
Because
now, again, I think Ohio State's going to be right back in the mix again this year.
What they did last year was they maxed out. Now, who is doing that right now? Texas is doing that right now. Steve Sarkisian and James Franklin are very, very similar in their professional wins, losses, and stuff like that of what they have and haven't won.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities in those two. So now Texas is in that boat where they're sitting there saying, this is national championship or bust for Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah.
Because they're putting the money in. They have already said they're going to spend $35 to $40 million on this year's roster.
Yeah.
Kidding me? That's twice of what Ohio State paid last year. That's disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. But with that said, I think if Sarkisian doesn't win the national title, he has to be he's a step above James in that world where I think that they've been waiting for Sarkisian to cross over this threshold, where I think that James took that next step last year, getting to the national semifinals. Again, I don't want his job. We don't want his job either, Jeff. We do not. We like talking about it.
I don't know. I think I'd take it.
We like talking about it. That's it.
Even if I was not successful.
You like the paycheck every once in a month.
The paycheck and being able to put that away. I think I could do it for a year. Anyway. All right, let's take a break here. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
May means warmer weather, the official start of the summer season, and the month that we want to see ya in a Kia more than ever at Lion Country Kia.
Wanna see ya in a Kia.
Hurry into Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Make May the month that we see ya in a Kia. From Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dravilla Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And back for a final segment here on this Thursday as we launch into the weekend. Again, the Coaches versus Cancer Golf Tournament getting underway tomorrow at the Penn State Golf Courses.
UAM, PM.
AM. Suspect they'll have some cart restrictions for tomorrow's event. It has been a pretty wet spring here in the Valley of Happiness.
Yeah, my housing development got a ton of landscaping done. They took a lot of bushes out, a lot of trees down, put all kinds of mulch in there, reworked the pits and stuff like that. And they were telling us, they were giving us hoses and say you got to water your place once a night unless it rains during the day. You know how many times we've watered?
Once.
Zero.
Even better.
Unbelievable, dude.
Incredible.
Yes, it's been raining at least every day, or the ground is still soft. That's why we don't water it. Amazing. Just amazing. It's as wet a spring as we've had. I mean, it was Memorial Day. I was up at Carrie's house this weekend. It was too cold to swim.
Yeah.
We not had Coaches versus Cancers, and it's been 102 degrees and like really hot.
Yeah.
This one's going to be the high is 70 tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're going to go through it at 7:00 in the morning, Jeff?
We are. Yes, indeed.
You said you're a little weird, but I didn't know you were crazy, man.
Also this weekend, the under 20 and under 23 World Team Trials for USA Freestyle Wrestling will be held in Geneva, Ohio. And Penn State will have a lot of wrestlers competing, including some recruits like PJ Duke and Marcus Blaze.
Are they good?
Should be a lot of fun. I'll be curious to see some of the results. Connor Mirasola, Cole Mirasola will be competing Will Hankel, I did a podcast earlier this week, and it's just interesting what can happen in terms of somebody getting quote unquote lost in the shuffle. And I've been thinking about it since the discussion we had. We recorded the show on Tuesday night, and the host was asking about Will Hankel and like, is he kind of a forgotten guy? I was like, well, I don't know if he's forgotten, but I think he's not getting the attention maybe that a Marcus Blaze or a PJ Duke are getting at the moment, just because of the success these guys are having on the world stage here at the moment, but also because I don't think Hankel, there's speculation about whether Duke fits into the lineup next year or whether, it'll be another year before we see him, but there's discussion there. I think it's pretty well presumed that Hankel will redshirt next season just because of how packed that lineup is in the mid upper weights all the way through the upper weights. But it led us to the discussion on just Penn State wrestling in general, and every now and then I'll get asked, who's the best wrestler you've seen, and again, it depends what you're really looking for. Like, is it just from the talent standpoint, the consistency standpoint, and again, and everybody's going to have their own preference. But when you have guys like what Cael Sanderson has had here in his era and his staff's era at Penn State, you have guys like David Taylor and Bo Nickel and Ed Ruth and Zane Rutherford and Jason Nolf and Aaron Brooks and Carter Starachi. And it is crazy to think about, but kind of the and others group would include, and these are guys that I would contend before the Cael Sanderson era, if you put these resumes on the Penn State all-time list, we would unquestionably, well, that is an all-time no-brainer, all-time great at Penn State. I don't know whether he's 1 or 3, but he's up there. He's in consideration. And now, guys like Nico Megaludis, Frank Molinaro, Quentin Wright. We're talking about multiple national champions in some cases here, multiple All-American winners. Again, in some cases, a 4 or 5 time All-American is like, oh, yeah, no, he was great, but you don't think of him, or I think a lot of Penn State fans don't think of him in the same light. Do you realize how ridiculous it is what Penn State has been able to produce in terms of, forget everything else, just like guys that are fun to watch wrestle? I mean, Nico was just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh. I mean, you talk about a guy that went for moves in the big time matches, just a ton of fun to watch. And again, we're going to go through a long list of Matt Brown and
Jeff,
Anthony Cassar. You have guys, again, national champions, and it's like, they're kind of afterthoughts.
I said they said somebody was talking about Penn State wrestling, and I said Penn State's backups would have finished in the top 3 last year.
That's possible.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
To even think about that, they're backups.
Well, yeah, and again, I don't know how some of this stuff is going to play out. People are consistently asking, well, how's this going to? I don't know. And I don't think the coaches know. I think it's one of those situations. It's kind of like Ohio State football's quarterback room last year. It's like you don't. I think sometimes people aren't looking at this the way great coaches do. And I think great coaches are like, you just want great kids and great athletes, as many as you can get. And I think there are people that think, well, no, you got to turn down this kid because you already have that guy. Well, what if you aren't sure which one is better? And I don't mean just better athlete.
I mean every day. I know what he can do.
But also caliber of kid. And well, if this guy wants to come in and compete, again, that's what sports is competition. It's a battle to see who can be the best. Well, if you can get as many guys in your room, and again, I don't care what the sport is. Penn State doesn't. Well, we have Drew Aller, so we don't need to worry about quarterback for the next. Well, no, you need a backup. Well, all right, but now you have 2 quarterbacks. Well, no, if you can get 5 top-tier quarterbacks, yeah, you're going to bring them in. You're not going to tell the 5th guy who really wants to come here, no, sorry, we already have 4. If you think that 5th guy has a chance to be the guy, why would you do that? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how it's going to play out, and I get it. They only have 10 starting spots. The kids that are coming in know that too. They recognize it. They still want to come here and compete. Now, are some kids going to leave? Probably. I don't think it's a guarantee, but probably. When you have the accolades that these guys do, it's hard for me to imagine that many of them are going to say, yeah, I'm okay sitting on the bench for a 4 or 5 year college stint when I'm presumed to be one of the top 3 guys in the country. But also, it was interesting that they have those little video shorts that are put out, and I'm trying to think now. I know it was Josh Barr and Levi Haynes, and they were just like, hey, folk style or freestyle, what do you like better? And they both said freestyle. I think Zane said folk style, and it doesn't really matter. The point isn't whether Carter said it depends what season it is. It's my favorite, whatever season we're in. But the point being, college wrestling fans, I think we generally, and I'm a wrestling fan, because I've followed and covered Penn State wrestling for a long time, like the folk style is to me more appealing, and it's just what I follow more closely. So to me, Penn State wrestling is a bigger deal than now. The Olympics is a different animal unto itself, but even in the World Championships, it's like, for me, would I rather see a kid win a national title at Penn State or a world championship? I mean, I want to see him win both, but yeah, the national title at Penn State is the bigger deal to me. A lot of these kids, and I don't know what the percentage is, but I mean, a lot of them, the freestyle is their bigger focus. So they're coming to Penn State, and they want to achieve everything they can collegiately. But I think some of them are okay with if it doesn't work out collegiately, with staying here, because they see this as the path to ultimate success on the world stage. It all plays out. I don't know how it's all going to play out.
No. Did I hear a rumor today that Ferrari was declined at North Carolina?
I didn't. I have. You may very well. I heard that. I have not seen that.
They decided not to offer him the scholarship, or
I've been running around.
Came in and said no, but either or. You've heard me tell the story about when I got here to Penn State. It was 31 guys just in our offensive meeting room that went on to the NFL. That included 7 or 8, 9 offensive linemen. I knew I was not going to start until my 3rd year.
Yeah.
I knew Jeff and Marco started their 3rd year, 2nd year.
Yeah.
But we knew that. We had 105 scholarships. It's a little less now because there's 85, but we're going to go back to the 105, but that's besides the point. But you knew.
Yeah.
That go back to what Franklin has to do, and that's recruit the same guys every year, because he has to recruit the whole team. Like, how does he keep Jeff Harding, Mark Rivera, Andre Johnson, Keith Conlon, Bucky Greeley here happy, knowing they're not going to start into their 2nd year again? You know what I mean? And you're only going to be a 2-year starter. It's a big thing. I mean, it makes me think what we would have done as a group, or me myself as an individual. I wouldn't have left, because I definitely saw my future here. Like you're talking about watching these guys wrestle, and they can, they're happy not being the guy, I guess, because they know in the long run that they're still going to be wrestling out of here, and they're still wrestling the best people every day, and it's gonna help them in the future. So I can see that, but I can also see where guys leave all the time. I would not want that. No. Now, you named a whole list, and then you backed them up with a second list. Where's Bo? Is Bo in that top? No.
Oh.
In that realm.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you named them or not. What I'm saying. I was just trying to think. Because Quentin's my guy. I have always loved him, and I appreciated him because then he was an older guy when I got into it, obviously. But I had to respect him. He's a local guy, so all that stuff and how tough he was, and I think he led the way for that first national title, and I liked his attitude. But there's definitely guys out there who know. I mean, the guys know more than us. I mean, you've talked about this, how Cale, he sees guys come in there, and he'll be like, I don't know if he's going to win 3 or 4 national titles, maybe 5, maybe 4. That's crazy to think about that these guys see that and know that, but I think the players do too.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm just reading through here quickly now that you mention it. And yeah, Ferrari did have apparently North Carolina pulled the offer. It does not sound. It sounds like it was not a wrestling decision. I don't think Rob Cole was the one. Just reading between the lines here, this sounds like it was from higher up, and so.
Now you
be
said to me on the air a couple of weeks ago, maybe off the air, but I said, would he ever wrestle Penn State? And I said, there's no way Cale would accept him. And you said, I don't know. Yeah, and it's about what happens in that room, right? So
correct. Yeah, there's. I think one of the things that Cale is really good at doing is allowing kids to be themselves. And anytime I just get, what you see, right? And this is for all of us. I mean, I only know what I see too. There's usually a lot more going on with these kids and their lives, and especially with wrestlers, like the amount of dedication and discipline it takes to get to be a good, I'm not talking about a Division I recruit. I'm talking about a good high school wrestler. Like, that's special stuff. It really is. And so, again, there's different circumstances. We all make mistakes, and there's different degrees of mistakes, and there's different levels. I get all of that. But also, one of the things we, as Americans, tend to love are the redemption stories, the comeback stories. Chance Marsteller is just a great example in the wrestling community. And there was a lot of things going on that we now have learned about that contributed to the problems he had. And I mean, I was genuinely concerned, and I didn't know him at all, but I genuinely concerned reading through the reports and all of that he was heading to a life that was going to be cut short. I genuinely a concern. And I'm like, forget wrestling. I hope this kid is able to get his life turned around. Well, he did, and he got his wrestling career turned around and the whole bit.
A little bit.
Cale is very good at big picture stuff. And so anytime I hear anybody say, well, Penn State would never do this, we'd never go after. I'm telling you, Cale wants the best opportunities for his wrestlers. It cracks me up when people are like, Iowa or Oklahoma State are spending this. Penn State would never do that. Yeah, Penn State would. Penn State can do it. Why wouldn't you? To be as competitive as you can. Yes, you're crazy to think that in this era, if it is within the rules, why would you not be doing everything you can to provide all of the opportunities that are available? So that's one. Two, if Cale thinks having Ferrari on the team and in the room would make the program better, I get Ironhead. They already have. They're already overstocked in the upper weights. I understand that. But what I'm telling you is if Cale thinks that coming in, he will make the room better, and that he thinks the room will make him better. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not predicting. I am not expecting
Correct.
AJ
And
Ferrari
I'm sorry to
to
put
end
you in
up
this
at Penn
situation,
State.
Jeff.
But I think that
question.
there's going to be a consideration if he expressed interest? Yeah, I think they would at least have a conversation, and maybe after the conversations, I'm not sure this is going to fit either way, or maybe it's all right when we need to put these parameters on, or I need to see this. I never rule anything out without knowing the details of what all's gone in to different things that occur. And I don't know. I know what's been reported, and I've seen the same things that everybody else has. I don't know all of the things that went into the different circumstances that AJ Ferrari has previously found himself in. And again, Kale has a great ability to bring people together, let them be themselves, and kind of bring out the best of them, both as wrestlers and as people. So, again, I'm not predicting anything. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just saying I would not rule anything.
Yes, I'm sorry to put you there, but I wanted to clarify, but it's
of public perceptions.
You made a mention of that a couple weeks ago, and I thought about that, and I figured with that happening, I figured I'd ask you on air.
Folks, we hope you have a great weekend. We will be back with another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show come Tuesday. And we invite you to stay tuned this evening, 6:30. We'll have Penn's Phillipsburg Osceola Rather and Baldy Galeria, PO and BEA in the District 6 AAA softball championship game. Until Tuesday, we hope that you are both good and safe.
May means warmer weather, the official start of the summer season, and the month that we want to see you in a Kia more than ever at Lion Country Kia.
Wanna see ya in a Kia.
Hurry into Lion Country Kia now and choose from 79 new Kias on the lot. Just in time for family vacations, check out the refreshed 2025 Kia Carnival MPV. Its new SUV-inspired styling, seats up to 8. Lion Country Kia has the 2025 Carnival and Carnival Hybrid with interest rates as low as 3.9% for 48 months through Kia Motor Finance. There's 4 gas models available and 8 hybrids available with up to a 33 combined MPG. Be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too at Lion Country Kia. And remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Make May the month that we see ya in a Kia. From Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dravilla Street, off Shiloh Road, behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
2 of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members. tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS,